Okay, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our third session on pathways to university, education, training, and employment. Before I start today's presentation, let's have a quick recap on what we have learned during the last 2 weeks, okay? So I start with this one, 3 P's of success. Let me know if you remember what was the first P. Anyone? The first one? Good things take time. Great things take a little longer. What was the first P of success? I cannot hear you. If you're talking, you need to switch on your microphone. Okay, so the first one was patience, okay? You have some goals. You would like to go back to university or go to university. You want to start a job, but it's important to know things take time. And you need to be patient, okay? You need to be patient. You're going to achieve what you want in few months and years. What was the second one? Anyone remember the second P for success? It's in the slide as well. A goal without a plan is just a wish. So the second P is planning, okay? If you would like to go to university, have a degree, find a job, that's a wish, okay? But if you start planning for that, that becomes a plan, that becomes a goal. And then the third P is perseverance. So you need to be persistent and you need to keep doing things over time. You need to keep learning language every day. You need to keep learning study skills every day. You need to look for scholarship opportunities, for university opportunities, for job opportunities every day, and then you gradually move forward. And then the key to all of these is action, okay? So you have patience, you have persistence, you have some planning, but without action, there is no progress. You need to have goals, have plans, but you need to act. You need to apply for university. If you don't apply, you don't move forward. If you don't apply for college courses, if you don't apply for language courses, there is no progress. So make sure once you have plans, apply for things and take some steps forward. Okay, so these are the 3 P's have in mind, and I'm going to repeat these 3 P's every week so that you remember them. But if you remember, last week we covered pre-university education in the UK. So very briefly, if you want to apply for an undergraduate course in university in the UK, you need to have a level 2 or level 3 qualification, which means you need to have a high school diploma. That high school diploma could be from your country. It could be from any country that you come from Syria, Afghanistan, Sudan, Eritrea, or any other country. So a high school diploma is a high school diploma, okay? That's most of the time, that's a level 2 qualification. Or in some countries, people have college degrees. Like in Iran, there is a pre-university college degree, which is equivalent to A level. So if you have level 2 or level 3, a high school diploma, pre-university qualification from your country, you can use it to apply for undergraduate course here in the UK. However, you need a language qualification as well. So you need a level 2 or equivalent language qualification. That could be IELTS, most of the time IELTS 6 or 6.5. However, IELTS is not the only one, and many universities, they accept other language qualifications equivalent to level 2. Many of the students from refugee or asylum seeking background, they start undergraduate with level 2 ESOL or level 2 functional skills. As long as it's level 2, many universities, they accept that qualification. So in summary, if you are planning to apply for university for undergraduate courses, and by undergraduate, I mean bachelor degrees, okay? So you need to have a level 2 or level 3 qualification, high school diploma, GCSEs, A-levels, functional skills, anything that is level 2, including high school diplomas from your countries. And you need to have a level 2 English language qualification as well. That could be ESOL, IELTS, Cambridge, and so on and so forth. As long as it's level 2, many universities, they accept it. However, this could be different for different universities. Okay, so some universities may have different requirements in terms of degree qualifications and in terms of language qualifications. So the best place to go and find this kind of information is UCAS website. I added a link here, UCAS search, and the university, the actual university webpage. So if you are planning to study at the University of East London, the best place is to go to University of East London webpage and search for the course. So if you are planning to study journalism or bioengineering or biomedicine in University of East London, just Google it, okay? Just Google accounting, University of East London. Go to the university page and check the entry requirements. Most of the time, it's same as 1, 2, okay? It says level 2, level 3, and language. Sometimes it could be different. When we finish the presentation, I'm going to show you on my browser. I'm going to give you some examples of how to find out more about entry requirements. But when you have slides, you can go to UCAS search, and from there, you can find almost every piece of information that you need in terms of entry requirements. Any question about applying for undergrad? Is it clear? So there shouldn't be any other thing. So as long as you have level 2, level 3, and language qualification, you are okay in 95% of situation to apply. Okay. Any question?
Yes. I need to know if we have to do IELTS before we apply to university or after we get an offer.
Okay, so you don't need IELTS when you apply, okay? Or
Okay.
any other language qualification. So when you apply
Yes.
for undergraduate or postgraduate, there is a question about, do you have any language qualification? You can say yes, you can say no, and then you can apply. If you say yes, and if they give you offer, that offer is going to be unconditional. If you say no, and they want to give you offer, that offer is going to be conditional. And most of the time they would say, okay, Hala, we give you an offer to study nursing in our university, but you have 3 months time, 4 months time, usually 1 or 2 months before September, which is the start of the course, to send us your language qualification. So if you have it, that's better. If you don't have it, not a problem. Apply, and then you have a few months time to continue your language and then having the exam and having your qualification. Is that clear, Hala?
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And another question, because I want to apply for architecture. Usually they required exams like for medicine, um, UCAT and BMAT. So for architecture,
Yeah.
do they require any exams before?
Well, it depends, okay? It depends. I'm not sure about architecture. I don't think so. Sometimes there is an exam called GRE, but
Okay.
GRE is most of the time for postgrads, okay? I suggest just going to university webpage. So so which university you are planning to apply for or apply to?
Manchester University.
So just Google or go to Manchester University website. We can
Okay.
do it as an example later. So go University of Manchester Architecture and just go through entry requirements. I don't think there is anything more than general entry requirements, but
Mm.
you never know. You need the best way is to check the university website.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. So again, very good question from Hala. Language is not necessary when you apply, okay? So if you are applying now in February, you don't need to have your language qualification. If you have it, fine. If not, apply, and then they give you, if they want to give you an offer, they will give you 4 months, 5 months, 3 months time to send the language qualification. Any other question? Okay, so let's move forward. So now that you have the entry requirements, okay, you have your level 2, you have your level 3, you have your language qualification. One question that the students keep asking me is about what to study in university, okay? Some of you know what you want to study. So probably you studied back in your country for a couple of years, you couldn't finish, and you want to continue the same program. So for instance, many of the students, especially now, students coming from Afghanistan, they were studying something in university back there, and then they had to stop and move out of the country. So they are thinking of continuing the same courses that they used to study back home. But some students, they want to start from the beginning. So they keep thinking, oh, what is the best thing to study? Should I study accounting? Should I study nursing? Should I become a teacher? Should I study computer science? So they keep thinking about what is the best course for me to study here in the UK. And most of the time, it's about job and job opportunities after finishing the course. So they are thinking, oh, what kind of jobs I can have with this degree. So if I have a bachelor degree from University of Manchester in nursing, what kind of jobs I can apply for, what is going to be the salary, the money that I can make from those jobs, and what is the future, the future opportunities when I have those qualifications, which is very good question. So you need to start thinking about these kind of questions from now so that you can decide what is the best course to study. But there are a number of points that you need to have in mind when answering that question. I cannot answer that question for you. It depends on you, but I can give you some ideas about what to think about when you're thinking about what to study. So the first one, just ask yourself, do you like it or not? If you don't like it, don't go for it, okay? Because it's very difficult to study and then work in a job that you don't like it for 30 years, for 40 years, for 20 years. So if you don't like nursing, if you don't like working with patients, with um, uh, problems, issues, pain, don't go for it. Although there is a very good job market here in this country for nursing. So at the moment, NHS, they want thousands of nurses and doctors and midwives and so on and so forth. But if you don't like it, don't go for it, because first of all, you need to study 3-4 years in university. It's difficult to do it if you don't like it. And then you need to stay in that job for 30 years, 25 years, 35 years. So study something that you like it yourself. The next one is about entry requirements. Okay, so for some jobs, for some university courses and programs, the entry requirements could be different and could be difficult to achieve. It's not difficult in terms of impossible. Okay, every single one of you can study what you want, but it's matter of time. Okay, so sometimes you can start a course in 1 year. So you can say, okay, this year I'm going to have my functional skills and my language, level 2 language, and then I can start university from next year. But for some courses and some universities, for instance, if you are thinking of starting becoming a pharmacist or dentist, these are the courses that entry requirements are time taking to achieve. So probably it's going to take you 2, 3, 4 years time to have all those entry requirements to start that course. So always think about entry requirements. Can I meet those entry requirements in a year, 2, 3, 4, and which comes to the next one, which is about age and other commitments. Okay. Again, age is not a big issue, but probably you want to think if you're in your 40s, if you are 42, 43, and if you are planning to apply for medicine, probably it's going to take you around 10 years, okay, to have entry requirements to go to university, to graduate, and then to start a job, which means you are going to be in your 50s when you start a job as a GP or as a dentist, okay? And then probably you are going just to have like 10, 15 years before retirement. But if you are in your early 20s, if you are 19 years old, 21 years old, 22 years old, you have plenty of time ahead of yourself, okay? You can think of, okay, I like to become a dentist. I really like it. So I'm going to spend 5 years, 6 years, 7 years to become a dentist. So always think about age and whether this is the best option for you or not, considering how many years would it take to finish that course and start a job. And the other one is your other commitments. So if you are a single person, if you don't have family commitments, if you don't have children, you have more time and it's easier to spend more time learning language, having GCSEs, going to university, and so on and so forth. But if you're a mother of 1, 2 children, okay, so you have probably less time, and probably it's better for you to think about other courses which requires less time commitment. Okay, so that doesn't mean you cannot do it, but you need to make that balance and have that balance in mind. So sometimes doing a course may take you 10 hours per week. Okay, something else may take 20 hours a week. So you need to think about, do you have enough time for your other commitments, for your family commitments, child commitments, and then continuing with your education as well. Next one is financial requirement. And this is mainly about how much money do you need to spend to study. So if you're if you're a refugee, most of the time you don't need to spend money from your pocket. You have loan, and then you can pay that loan back when you start working. But if you're an asylum seeker, you're still waiting for your asylum claim to be processed. You have limited options. Okay, so you need to think about whether there is a scholarship or financial support for you or not. Also, if you need to work when you study, so some of you may need to have like a part-time job when you study, or may need to have like even like a full-time job when you study. So always think about, do I have enough time to have a part-time job and some income from that job, and then being a full-time student or not. Next one that you need to have in mind is about your immigration status. Again, it's mainly about financial requirement. If you have refugee status, there is no big problem because you can apply for student finance. If you're asylum seeker, still waiting for your claim, so you have limited options. But the other problem is mobility. Okay, so if you're in home office accommodation, if you're in a hotel or in Serco accommodation in Glasgow or in Bristol, you are not mobile, so it's difficult to go to university in Manchester, or it's difficult if you're in Glasgow, it's difficult to go to university in London. So always think about, is it possible if I apply for this course in this city in Birmingham, can I go or not because of my immigration status? Next one, well, I already covered this. And then think about future opportunities. And there are loads of web pages. If you go to UCAS website, which I'll show you later, there are loads of information about what kind of jobs you can have with that degree and the average income for those kind of jobs. Okay, when we in the future sessions, when we start talking about jobs, I give you some more clear ideas about income for different kind of jobs in the UK. Okay, and what is like the average income for graduate jobs, if you have like a postgraduate degree, how it's going to increase your income, and so on and so forth. But always think about what other opportunities I have in the future with that degree. If you study computer science, you have more opportunities to study some probably history. Okay, so every company, most of the companies, most of the sectors, they need computer scientists, engineers, programmers, coders, cybersecurity professionals, and so on and so forth. So these kind of degrees, these kind of qualifications, they give you more opportunities for a job in the future. Some, if you study, I'm not sure, probably physics, you have less opportunities. Probably it's just about teaching or some more kind of limited sectors in the future. So always think about future opportunities. Length of the course is important. So again, for most of the university courses, undergraduate courses, here in the UK, it's going to take 3 or 4 years. So if you start from year 1, it's going to be 3 years. If you start from foundation year, it's going to be 4 years. So you need to think about, do I have enough time to continue over the next 3-4 years? And you need to spend some time pre-university. So probably you need to spend 1-2 years just preparing for university. And always think about the length of course, because next sessions, when we talk about vocational training, when we talk about technical trainings, sometimes some students would say, oh, I prefer to do 1 year of vocational training or technical training and then start a job and make money. Okay, so don't think of university as the only option. In the future sessions, we are going to learn about other options that you have. Takes less time, you start working sooner, and you can start making good income as well. And then what does it take to conclude the course? So going to university is difficult, but finishing university is much more difficult, okay? Because you need to spend time every week. You need to study, you need to prepare, you need to write, you need to read, you need to submit assignments. So for some courses, the workload is much higher than other courses. For some courses, you need to write more. So if you study law, if you study to become like a barrister, or if you study to become a lawyer, a solicitor, it's more about reading and writing. But if you study to become a nurse, you have less writing and have more work placement. You have more actual training in the hospital. So always think about, is it something that you can do, you like or not? Do you prefer courses with more reading, writing, presentation, and speaking, or courses with more technical training like architecture, engineering, nursing, and so on and so forth? And at the end, just think about, does it worth effort or not? So is it something that makes sense to spend all those days and years and energy and money on it, to have it or not? And then you can, with all these criteria, with all these questions, at the end, you can get to some ideas about, is it the best option for me, or should I think about other options? At the moment, university is the only thing that we've talked about, but in the next sessions, when I start explaining about other options and other plans that you could have, like doing BTECs, doing NVQs, doing internships, apprentice, and so on, you'll see that university is not the only option. There are other options that could be quicker, and especially if you are thinking of, if you financial side of it, if you're thinking of starting a job and making money as soon as you can because of family or whatever, those options could be better options than going to university. And then after all, if you're not sure and if you need some guidance, there is a very fun and interesting quiz on UCAS website, which is UCAS Career Quiz. Okay, so if you go to UCAS website by clicking on this link, it takes you to a number of questions. So you need to answer like 20 questions, and it gives you some ideas about, these are the jobs and these are the university courses that probably you are going to be more successful in them. Okay, so if you don't have any ideas after all those questions, just go through the UCAS quiz. It's fun and it gives you some direction. So, and then you can decide whether you want to do it or not. Before I move forward, is it clear in terms of how to choose what to study? Do you ask these questions from yourself? Or any other question that you ask when you are thinking of what to study? Okay, so any question before I move to the next slide?
No, sir.
Okay, great. So now, okay, now you know what you want to study. You are decided that I'm going to study computer science, University of Bristol. Okay, so you know what you want to study. You know the entry requirements, and you have the entry requirements. So you have level 2 language, you have high school diploma, and you are going to apply for a course, University of Bristol in computer science. Okay. Next point that I want to talk about before we take a break is scholarships. And here in the UK, if you have your refugee status, most of the times, like 99% of the time, you can apply for a student finance, and you will have a student finance. The only reason that you may not have the student finance, or you may not be entitled to a student finance, if it's not your first degree. So if you have a previous bachelor degree from your country, so if you have a bachelor in engineering from Syria, and if you want to apply for another bachelor degree, you cannot have a student finance for that. Or if you have a master's degree from your country or anywhere else, and you want to apply for a second master, there is no student finance for that. So that's the main point for refugee students not having student finance, not having loan. if this is your first time doing that degree, you can have student finance in most of the time. However, there are, as a refugee student, you can apply for sanctuary scholarship as well. There are other scholarships and grants as well. If you go to the link, so there are a range of scholarships and grants. I added a link to them. You can go and read and see if you are entitled to apply for them if you need. But the main one that I'm going to talk about today is sanctuary scholarships. Sanctuary scholarship, it's mainly for students who are still waiting for their asylum claim, because they are not entitled to student finance, they are not entitled to the loan. Some universities, currently over 70 universities, they offer scholarships to these students. However, many of these scholarships are for refugee students as well. So you need to check with the university, and we are going to check later. So some of them are for refugees, but most of them are for asylum seeking students once they are waiting for their asylum claim. These scholarships are different. So some of them are for undergrad, some of them are postgrad, some of them are for both. Some of them just pay for your tuition fee. Some of them pay for your tuition fee and give you accommodation. Some of them pay for your tuition fee, give you accommodation, and give you some extra money. Some of them just pay for your tuition fee, no accommodation. So they could be different in terms of the level of support and the courses that they support. If you click on this Sanctuary Scholarship link, it takes you to the current list of universities and information about those scholarships. We are going to go through those opportunities together later during this session. So now you know which university you want to apply, you have the entry requirements, and you want to apply for a scholarship. Okay, how to apply for a scholarship? So the first one, you need to decide the university, you need to decide the location. Okay, because Sanctuary Scholarship is not through UCAS. You need to directly apply to the university. So you need to start thinking of, if I apply to Birmingham, can I go to Birmingham or not? And probably if you are in home office accommodation in Wales, it's difficult to go to Birmingham and study. And most of the time, home office would not move you to an area close to university. Okay, so first of all, try to find universities around the area that you live, places that you can go by bus, by train, and then come back after your class. Then you need to look at the subjects available. If you are studying undergrad, you need to see if that university gives a scholarship for undergrad or not, or postgrad or not. Next one is about immigration status. Do they give a scholarship to asylum seekers, or to refugees, or people with humanitarian protection, or with indefinite leave to remain, or leave to remain, and other immigration situation. Deadline for application. So later I show you the website. For some universities, the deadline is in 2 months, in 3 months. For some of them, it could have passed. So you need to think about that deadline, and is it possible for you to meet that deadline and apply before the deadline. You need to look at the financial support. Again, when we go through the website, you see some universities, they just give you tuition fee, they pay for your study, but some of them are more generous in terms of offering extra support with accommodation, transport, laptops, and other fees, like some maintenance fees and some extra fees. And then the application process. Okay, so you need to think about the application process. Most of the time, the application process is you need to apply online. You need to send an application form, fill the application form, write a personal statement, and then if universities are going to shortlist, so if they have 50, 20, 30 applications, they are going to shortlist like 5 or 6 students, and there is going to be an interview. And then they are going to select which students to give the scholarship to based on that application and interview. There is a very in detail video from STAR, Student Action for Refugees. So if you click on this link, there is like a 1 hours and a half, like 2 hours session on sanctuary scholarships and how to apply for sanctuary scholarships. And during the video, they answer tens of questions about the application process. But most of the time, the application process is before applying for a scholarship, you need to apply through UCAS, and you need to have an offer. Okay, so first is having an offer. So you need, if you are applying for a scholarship from University of Birmingham, you need to have an offer to study in that university. So before applying for a scholarship, you need to apply for a course in that university through UCAS. And when you have your offer, that could be conditional or unconditional, then you can apply for a scholarship. Application process is directly through the university, and most of the time there is an application form, personal statement, and if they see that you are entitled, you will be invited to an interview, and during that interview they are going to choose or select 2-3 students to have the scholarship, depending on the number of scholarships available. Again, I added 2 very good videos here. The first one, an introduction to university scholarships, is a short video, like 4 minutes. The next one is like 1 hour and a half video, which is in detail information about how to apply for sanctuary scholarships. I'm going to show you the website of University of for sanctuary scholarships in a few moments. But before that, do you have any question until now? There is a link in the slide, in the slides, that takes you to the page for the scholarships. Okay, so when you go to the scholarship page, which is here, okay, so there are 4 main boxes. The first one from left is about university scholarships, which we are going through this link later, which is sanctuary scholarships. However, apart from sanctuary scholarships, which is provided by universities, there are other scholarships like private scholarships or grants for students from refugee or asylum seeking background, which is here in other scholarships and grants. So you can just check them for yourself later. And then there is an application guide. So I'm giving you some general guidance today, but if you need more information about the application process, there are more information and some videos available in this link. And then I'm going to talk about the mailing list later today. So when you click on university scholarship, it takes you to a list of current universities providing a scholarship for asylum seeking or refugee students. Here, this is the list, and you can filter the list based on region. So if you are just, because the first thing that I suggested you to have in mind is location. So especially for people who are still living in home office accommodation, you need to think about universities around your area. So you can go for, if you are in London, you can just choose for Greater London, or if you are in Manchester, you can choose Northwest, or if you are in Bristol, you can choose South, and so on. So the second part is region, which again is about the location that you live. The third column from left is level of study, which shows you which level or levels the university offer scholarship for. So here, for instance, this university in Wales, they give a scholarship for foundation year, undergraduate year, and postgraduate. For foundation courses, undergraduate courses, and postgraduate courses, masters. Okay, so if you are planning to apply to go to university in this university, you can apply for foundation, undergrad, and postgrad. However, here, University of Bath, you can see here, they just give a scholarship for undergraduate. So if you're an asylum seeker and you want to study a postgraduate course in Bath, there is no scholarship. Don't apply for that, okay? So always have this in mind. But here again, sorry, they have it's in a separate row. So they have scholarship for postgraduates as well. But if I go down, like there are some universities like Brunel, again in London, they just give a scholarship to foundation and undergrad, not for postgrad. So this is after location, you need to check whether they give a scholarship to that degree level that you want to study or not. The third column is about immigration status. So here, the universities say if they give a scholarship to asylum seeker, definite leave to remain, humanitarian protection. So asylum seeking, you know what asylum seeking is. If you are still waiting for your application to be processed, that's asylum seeker. Humanitarian protection, there are people here with humanitarian protection. You need always to go back to your ID card. If it says humanitarian protection, if you have leave to remain based on humanitarian protection, you can apply for this. It should be stated on your ID card. And then for refugee status, people with refugee status, again, if you go back to your ID card and you have leave to remain, if it says refugee status, you can apply. And then there are DLR and LLR, which is, again, everything is about your immigration status. You need to go back to your paperwork from Home Office or to your ID card to see what is your immigration status. Is it definite leave to remain or limited leave to remain, and so on and so forth. So now you know the location. I'm going to study in Wales because I live in Cardiff, and I want to apply for undergrad. So this is a good university for me. And they give a scholarship to asylum seekers, which is my immigration status. So the next one is offering, which is about the amount of money and the level of financial support. So for instance, University of Aston, which is in Birmingham, they give fee waiver. Fee waiver means they pay for your tuition fee, okay? You don't need to pay any tuition fee. Every time you see fee waiver, that means university do not charge you for tuition fee. That's free of charge. However, they give extra support up to £25,000 throughout the course. And course could be 3 to 4 years, which means every year they give you up to £4,000, £5,000, £6,000 extra support for accommodation, for transport, for books, for internet, for laptop, and other support that you need. Some universities are more generous, but if you go down here, University of Bath, for the undergraduate, they have fee waiver and they have £5,000 per year. For the foundation, just if I go to another university, like Bristol, some of you are in Bristol, they give full costs. I'm not sure what is full costs, okay? But in this case, if you click on the link here, it takes you to the university webpage about Sanctuary Scholarship. And here you can find more information about what is provided in University of Bristol. So make sure before you apply for universities, just choose universities who offer a scholarship in your location, for your level of education, for your immigration status, and go for universities with more financial support. Like in Cardiff, if you're in Wales, like Cardiff Met, they offer fee waiver, which means university is free of charge. They give you bus pass, term time bus pass. So during the term time, if you live in Cardiff, you don't pay for bus. They give you lunch voucher, so you don't need to pay for your lunch. And then they give you some personal support. Some universities, they offer accommodation as well. Like this one, Buckinghamshire University, they give accommodation. So you will be given a room in a student house during the time that you study in that university. So make sure you check this. One thing that you need to have in mind is the number of scholarships are limited. So it's not every university, they give 1, 2, sometimes 3 scholarships. It's not like they give a scholarship to all the applicants, okay? There is a competition. You need to apply, you need to write a good personal statement, you need to go to an interview, and if they think that you are the best candidate, they are going to give you that scholarship. But there is always competition. You need to be ready to be rejected. In the page, there is a link to the university website. You can find more information about the application process. For opening date, some of them, they are not open yet. Some of them, as you can see, for like Aston, it's not open yet. Probably they are going to open it this month or next month. For some of them, like Bath, it's open. For some of them, like for postgraduate, for PhD in Bath, it's closed. So, but for most of them, it's open. This is the scholarship season. It's coming. It's this month, next month, March, April, May. So there is still time to go for scholarships. But the important thing is having offer from those universities, which you need to do through UCAS. Any question about Sanctuary scholarships? Okay, so let's go back to the slides. As I said, if you want to apply for Sanctuary scholarship this year or next year, first you need to have offer from that university. And to have the offer, you need to apply through UCAS. In the past sessions, we went through the UCAS application. There is a video that you can watch about UCAS application. The main thing that you need to have in mind, if you want to apply for university, for Sanctuary scholarship, you need to apply to one of those universities that offer, because some universities, they don't have a scholarship. So when you choose 5 universities for UCAS, those 5 should be, at least you should have 1, 2, 3, or 4, 5 of those university of Sanctuary in your choices. When you have offer, you can apply for a scholarship, and you need to fill the application form, write a personal statement. For more information, you can watch the videos, but the personal statement for scholarship is different with personal statement for UCAS, okay? So you need to have a different, and you need to write a different statement for Sanctuary scholarship. And these are the points that you need to answer in your statement. Most of universities, they give you these questions to answer. So first of all, you need to explain your family situation. as an asylum seeker who came to this country, the barriers that you had back in your country that you couldn't finish your education. And you need to talk about your current status in the UK. If you're waiting for your asylum claim, if you're living in a hotel accommodation, or if you're living in a home office accommodation, and so on and so forth. So usually the first question, the first paragraph in your statement is about the problems that you had back in your country and the situation that you have currently in the UK. The next part of the statement for Sanctuary Scholarship is about your plan for future. Okay, as someone who came to this country this year, last year, 2 years ago, what are your ambitions? What are your plans for future? And why you want to study this particular course in the University of Birmingham, for instance. Okay, you need to explain what is your interest in business administration at University of Manchester, and what is your plan for future, and how having this degree can help you to achieve your plan. So this is the second part of your statement. And then the final part is about your financial circumstances. Okay, so if you have any payment from home office, from any other places, so you need to explain what is your source of income, or where do you get money for your maintenance, and the financial problems that you have, why you cannot pay for university. So probably you are going to explain, if you are asylum seeker, you are not allowed to work, so you don't have any income, you live in a hotel, and you don't have any cash support probably, or you have limited cash support, which means you are not able to pay for university fees and other fees. So have these three in mind. Again, if you go back to videos that I shared here, this video, it gives you more information about how to write a statement for a scholarship. But you need to write like 1 page and answer these 3 bullet points: your situation back in country and here, your ambition and plan, and why you want to study this course, and then the financial difficulties that you have. Okay, you need to explain why you cannot pay for your tuition fee. Any questions up until now about anyone here applied for a scholarship, if you want to share? If not, you still have time. Okay, for some courses, some universities, you still have time to go through UCAS, apply for offer, have your offer, and then apply for a scholarship. If not, just learn these for next year. Okay, because the next year is going to be more or less the same. So if you are planning to go to university next year, this is the kind of information that you need to know. So probably you can start planning for next year from now. Just before I move forward, I understand there are a number of students who would like to study medicine, or subjects relevant to medicine, like nursing, pharmacy, dentistry, midwifery, healthcare support, and so on and so forth. Okay, there is a very good and in detail session recorded by University of Leicester, and there is I added a link. So instead of having a session on healthcare subjects, I added the link to the video. So it's around 2 hours. Okay, so if you are interested in studying medicine, nursing, dentistry, pharmacy, and other health related subjects, I suggest you watching this video. And then if you have any question, bring your questions to the next session, okay, or next sessions. So video is recorded on YouTube. The link is here. Before I go back, I show you some other web pages, but there are the most important thing that you need to have as someone who came to the UK just recently, this year, last year, 2 years, 3 years ago. it's having access to information, okay? So most of the time, students, there are many good opportunities. There are some good courses, there are some scholarships, there are new opportunities, but the students do not find out about them because they are not linked, they are not connected to information. So I would like every one of you, okay, just today, after this session, before having lunch, I would like you to do 3-4 things, okay? I would like you to join some mailing lists. By mailing lists, I mean you go and add your email to a mailing list, and those organizations, those websites, they send you the latest information about scholarships, about trainings, pre-university courses, language courses for asylum seekers and refugees every week or every month, okay? It's easy to join. It takes you probably less than a minute for each of these, but when you join them, you don't need anyone else. You don't need me to give you information, okay? You will be sent those information directly to your email, and you will be aware of every single new opportunity for asylum seekers and refugees. So the first one is a STAR mailing list. I showed you the STAR web page. STAR is Student Action for Refugees, and this is the organization who coordinates scholarships. So for information about new events and about everything about higher education for refugees, you need to join STAR mailing list. They have I think it's every 2 weeks, they send a mailing list, including the latest opportunities for students from refugee or asylum seeking background. I'll show you the page later on on my browser. Or let me do it now. I think it's better. So here, can you see the mailing list?
Yes.
Okay, so easily, just your name, your email address, and if you are not a current member of a STAR, you can say yes or no. It's not an issue, okay? And if you can just leave the rest probably blank, okay? Don't be worried about if you don't have answer to all the questions. Just put your name, email address, say no and or yes, and then click this. I'm happy to receive emails, and then click subscribe. And then every week, every 2 weeks, you are going to have loads of information about this course in University of London, this course in University of Manchester, this online training, this new scholarship for refugees and asylum seekers. The next one is REUK, Refugee Education UK mailing list. Again, very good mailing list to have information about education, college courses, employability courses, technical courses, and higher education and scholarships for people from refugee or asylum seeking background. Again, if you go to their webpage, here, you can just put your email address, name, and if you would like your phone number or address. If not, it's not necessary. The only thing that you need to have is this one with a red star. Just put your email address, and then you want to hear about just whatever you want to have. I suggest taking everything and then just subscribe. Every week, they are going to send you latest news about opportunities that you have as a refugee or asylum seeking students here in the UK. The next one is University of Sanctuary mailing list. And again, if you go to their webpage, put your name, your email address. And then the last one is a newly launched website. If you go here, which is called Displaced Students Opportunities UK. Okay, the website is recently started, and then over time, it's not complete yet, but over time, they are going to add every information, every piece of information about refugee education, universities, colleges, courses, language learning here on this website. So make sure that you have access to this website. But again, what I would like you to do Today, after the session, before having lunch, just go and join a STAR mailing list or a UK mailing list and University of Sanctuary mailing list. And over time, in the next few months, you will see the difference that it will make in your life, especially in terms of having information. Hello.
So I have to do just with one organization, not for all.
You do for all the three? No, just because they send different information. Okay.
Okay.
So do all the three. So STAR or a UK. So 1, 2, 3. A STAR mailing list or a UK mailing list and University of Sanctuary mailing list, because they may have different information, but together you have all the information if you join the three of them. So each of them, they take you less than 30 seconds. Today, before lunch, join those mailing lists for sure. Again, I added the link to the organization web pages as well. So for instance, if you go to STAR web page, Student Action for Refugees, there are loads of information about applying for university, about applying for scholarships, about different courses, online courses, in-person courses across the country that you can find here. On STAR web page. If you go to our UK website, again, very informative collection of information. So designed for students from migrant, refugee, asylum seeking background. So for instance, here, if you are looking for help to go to college, just information available here, help for college, help for university. And then if you need some well-being and practical support, and there are pages about scholarships as well. So for instance, if you go help for university, then you can find some information about different kind of support available for you here in the UK by our UK or by other organizations. So between them, these three web pages and these three mailing lists, they give you almost everything that you need to know about refugee education here in this country. In the future sessions, when we talk about employment, I give you three mailing lists and three web pages for refugee employment. And if you join everything, all of these 6, okay, you don't need me basically. So most of the things that I show you here come from these web pages. So make sure that you're joining them and you will be at the top of information from now on. Let's go back to slides. Okay, so what time is it? We still have some time. So today was our final session for undergraduate. Until now, you learned that to start an undergraduate course, a bachelor course here in the UK, you need to have a level 2 qualification from your country or from here. It could be high school diploma, it could be GCSE, functional skills, or any other level 2 like BTEC. You need a level 2, at least a level 2 language qualification. It could be functional skills, ESOL, IELTS, Cambridge, whatever. And then when you have those 2, you can apply for university. If you remember, I advised you most of the time, it gives you more chance if you apply for courses with foundation year. Okay, so instead of doing 3 years, you do 4 years, but the first year 0 is foundation year, when you learn more English and you learn more about what you are going to study next. Or you can do access courses if you don't have those level 2, level 3 qualification. Before going to university, you can do 1 year access course in a college and then start university. You need to think about money. If you're a refugee, you can apply for student finance. If asylum seeker, still waiting for your claim, you have Sanctuary Scholarship as your option. So you need to go through that list. Not every university offers Sanctuary Scholarship. You need to go through that list and see which one is the best one for you, mainly considering your location and what you plan to study. And then you need to apply for undergrad through UCAS. There is a video about UCAS. It's not difficult. It probably takes 20-30 minutes. If you haven't applied, there is still time. It's in the first deadline has passed, but there is still time for late application. So some universities, some courses are still open. So if you want to apply, do it, okay, as soon as you can. There is still time for you to go to university in 2023. If not, plan for 2024. I suggested you to join those 3 mailing lists, okay? Make sure that you do that. And next week, oh, not next week, next session. Today we are here. Next week is our school break. Okay, we don't have any session next week. The following week, which is 2nd of March, we are going to start about talking about vocational pathways. Okay, again, going back to the previous slides. Let's see. So next week, oh no, sorry. Next week I'm going to talk about postgraduate. I just remembered. If you are planning to apply for postgraduate, next week is about postgraduate. Let's see. Yes, next week, 23rd of February, is about postgraduate for MSc and very briefly about PhD studies. And then the following week is about vocational. Again, you should have an email in your mailbox which links you with your personal tutor, a person who can support you mainly with your application process, with your writing the statement, making decision about what to study, and so on and so forth. Okay. If you don't know who is your personal mentor yet or personal tutor yet, go back, check your email. It's important to check your email every day and at least every week, okay, once a week, because we are going to send you link to slides, link to videos, to recording of the sessions and other emails. If your email is not there, if there is no email in your mailbox about who is your personal tutor or personal mentor, just send an email to Olive email. Okay, you have the Olive email on Gmail. Just send an email saying that, oh, I don't know who is my personal tutor. Please link me with my personal tutor. And personal tutor can start supporting you with application process and whatever else that you need. Let me see if it's the final. Yes, that was the final. Any question? Hello.
For references, because I'm not at the college, so could I get references from my work experience?
Reference for what? For university application?
Yes.
For UCAS?
Yes.
It's better to use an academic reference. So you can use anyone as reference, okay? But it's better to use an academic reference. If you don't have anyone from your college, one of the Olive tutors could be your reference, okay?
Oh, okay.
I can be your reference. You need just to have my name and my email address to add to your application, and then we are happy to give reference for you.
Okay, and when my daughter applied for university, so she, I think her tutors, they send the reference. She doesn't know anything about the reference. So
yes, if you go to the UCAS application video,
yeah,
when you apply for UCAS, at the kind of very final stage, they ask you about who is going to be your reference. Okay, you need to write name and the email address of your reference. Then UCAS is going to send an email to that person asking for reference. Okay, so what you need to have is name, So for instance, if it's going to be me, my name and my email address, that's the only thing that you need. Then I will have an email from UCAS saying that please send your reference for Hala or for any other student. And I'm going to send that letter to UCAS.
And is it enough, like one reference, or they
One is
require?
enough. No, you need just one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank
No
you.
problem. I'm going to stop sharing and stop recording